Hello everyone, Luke Smith here, and today's quickie reading is actually Wednesday the 21st of December. Manchester High School, the reading is today. We're still catching up on stuff. Starting with a quote: I had so many friends over there in high school, and I was just sad to leave after I graduated, because I had to leave all my friends and had the good life. And that was Chris, 10 years after finishing high school, crying alone in his dark toy-filled bedroom like a child. Manchester High School, located in Midlothian, Virginia, is a high school that Chris attended from 1996 to 2000, 9 years. 9th grade to 12th grade. Chris portrays this period among the happiest of his life, even though he proudly slept through a good deal of it. He would like nothing more than to use a time machine to return to these halcyon days. Known accomplishments. Among Chris's classes were the usual suspects: 2 years of Spanish, sex ed, coping skills, and a lot of art classes. Chris, of course. According to Chris, he achieved an honor roll grade streak. Oh God, I'd love a steak right back now. all the way through Manchester High School. However, according to Manchester High Leaks, he received a D+ in English in his junior year, having not turned in several major assignments and getting failing grades in most of the ones he did turn in. Chris proudly claims that he was mainstreamed through high school, but the special education classes imply that Chris was mainstreamed to the extent that he had attended the same school as his typically functioning peers, but not much more than that. He also rode on the freaking handicapped special ed bus, an experience that haunts him to this very day. The short bus. So he got some grades. He did a fucking lot, by the way. 10th grade, F on English assignment. That was it. To be fair, he'd do a lot better if he actually lived in England. But to be fair, it's an English language class, really. 11th grade, English class, 78%. Parenting interview, grade 50-50. Describing development worksheet, grade 10-20. Parenting worksheets, empathy, belly essay. The fuck's that? 30 by 30. Okay, you did alright then. Amendment timeline, nothing there. Strategic defense initiate essay, grade 10 out of 10. Election worksheet, 18 out of 18. Canterbury Tales essay. What the fuck's that? Canterbury, that rings a bell. Canterbury is a place in England, but yeah, it is. It's near Dover. It's in the southwest. Essay, grade 69. Nice. Japan War essay. They wanted to learn that. Okay, that was a bit weird. Best President essay, obviously Donald Trump, but he wasn't around in the 90s as a president, so I think it was Bush, wasn't it? George Bush. Another useless old man. He graded 43 out of 50 plus 10. Student life essay, standards of learning essay, 13 lucky writing tips. 13 is an unlucky number though, so I don't know how that worked. Spanish adjectives worksheet. Yeah, he's got 20 out of 20 because apparently he can speak Spanish. I don't know why. Spanish las profesiones worksheet. Spanish las profesiones something worksheet. 30 out of 32. Chemistry mock resume. 83.1 out of 100. Chemistry mock job interview, 33.1 out of 40. I had like loads of mock interviews back in the day. Chemistry, getting acquainted worksheet, safety in the kitchen worksheet, safety kitchen outline, kitchen safety outlines, kitchen safety true or false worksheet. 12th grade, September, praise from his English teacher for the short story How Pokemon Came Into Our Pokeballs. That sounds like a weird poem. March, CD cover for Christian's favourite hits. Oh, this is like art class stuff, isn't it? April, naps in glass for the self-documentary A Week with Kristen Chandler. What did they like reel in the TV and just show that for some reason? Social life. Most of Chris's friends were gal pals, not joy boys. That sounds queer. During his senior year, he had classes and ate lunch with them every other day. The high school had alternating odd and even days, and the odd ones he ate alone. To be fair, I don't know. No, I used to eat with my friends. I don't think I ever ate alone. Really, it sounds really sad. To be fair, like eating alone. He seemed to have a strong dislike towards pupils he saw as immature boys, which might be related to Chris having been constantly picked on. Chris purported friends. Is that even a word? Kelly Andes, Tiffany Gowan, Sarah Beryl, Miranda Mitchell, Molly Grackies, Happy and Giggly, Joseph Herring, fellow water boy for the basketball team, graded 98, and Brian, boyfriend of Sarah Hammer. I'm guessing that's Sarah Hammer. In reality, few, if any, of those people can be legitimately said to have to have been a friend of Chris, as he self-admits. He spent little time with his friends outside of school hours, and his song of Kristen, written at age 16, he describes himself as being lonely and isolated. He couldn't go to the pep rallies because they were too loud. I think that's an autistic thing though. I used to have that problem. If something was like too loud, it's basically a sensory overload sort of thing. I might do a video about my experiences with autism next year sometime, probably like next month, to explain it a bit better, but I can kind of understand like loudness at certain places, and yeah, you can get used to it. If you try it, you can get used to it. Years later, Chris found out that none of his gal pals actually liked him that much and hung around with him mostly out of pity. No shit, we already knew that. That's why they didn't hang out with him when he was out of school. Much to his devastation, in the Facebook post where he revealed this, he made the bizarre claim that he hadn't really been bullied much because he'd never been beaten up or stuffed in a locker. Can you imagine stuffing Chris Can into a locker? Get in there, you have to like kick him in there because he's so big. Seemingly oblivious to the fact that the vast majority of school bullying consists of emotional, not physical abuse. That's kind of true. Go Lancers! Chris was a water boy and a manager, according to him, for the high school for Manchester High Lancers basketball team during his freshman year, along with Joseph Herring. He got a certificate and a embroidery M for his work. Chris's servitude to the basketball team, probably the only meaningful interaction that he had with other males throughout his entire adolescence, remains a cherished memory. So much so he continues to obsess about it over a decade after graduating. A few references slipped into the comic. Manchester High was featured heavily in Sonic 7, and it begins with Chris hanging around his old school without being there or on any official business. Maggie-Chan then brings Chris and Sonic back to the time of 96, where Chris was a 14-year-old water boy. Based on his actions on the comic, his manager job consisted of leaning against the wall. In Sonic 9, Megali Laskunk was depicted wearing a Lancers cheerleader outfit. In August 2010, Chris made a handful of characters and a vehicle in Mod Nation races to commemorate his time with the basketball team. The Manchester High Mod Nation collection includes the team bus, 2 of the players, a cheerleader, and Chris himself at age 14, looking as if he's afraid of being jumped by something just behind him. August 9th, 2013, as Chris continued to fantasize about his high school years, Chris uploaded the logo of the team on Facebook. In November, he revealed his fantastical Lego high school. I remember that video, which was festooned with a number of Lancer stickers on it. It featured a basketball court, gymnasium, showers, and a locker room. So let's just have a look at the his own picture on Mod Nation. There you go. He looks like he shit himself. He looks so afraid for some reason. Le bus. Here we go, the short bus. Good old shorty. At age 15, Chris was demoted from the regular high school bus to the special ed bus. He would be scared or scarred. I think it's scared. Let me just check my recording. Yep, it's fine. He would be scared by this experience of being forced to spend time with the seriously mentally handicapped, or the slow in the mind as he calls them. The school switched him to the bus of doom after a confrontation with another student on the normal bus. Now I bet that other student was black, because Chris was very racist back in them days. In Chris's vision of events, he and a black boy were in constant competition to be it was a black kid. Yeah, I knew it. To be the first off the bus. One day, the other boy punched Chris in order to beat him out the door. By this point, Chris's recollections were inconsistent. In one version, he did not fight back, nor bleed, and his glasses were broken. In another, Chris punched back and ended up with a nosebleed. In yet another, his glasses were unbroken. Well, make up your fucking mind. What was it? Given Chris's prosperity for framing himself as a victim and his unrealistic assignment, a high school freshman isn't going to care about a race to get off the school bus first, especially against a mentally slow student. And if he had assaulted Chris for it, the school would have him thrown a book at him. It's likely the events unfolded a different way. Chris, in his autistic zeal to be the first of the bus, may have simply bumped into another student, slipped and fell. Yeah, most likely true. It's easy to bump off someone, especially if you're getting off and on at the same time. The senior prom. Unknowingly foreshadowing future events, Chris took his mum to a senior prom. His girl pal Tiffany Gowan felt sorry for him, so she asked him for a dance, which they did, for it seemed like hours to Chris, and arguably seemed like hours to Tiffany too. She wished she never fucking asked him now. Chris hopes to reenact this historic moment in an upcoming high school reunion. That's assuming there aren't any security guards there to express purpose of keeping him out. Well, he's going to be in prison until at least next August, so we will have to see about that reunion, can't we? Let me just bring up some pictures right here. Yeah, that'll do. Let's just show them off. This is Bob eating a burger, filling herself up, looking almost shell-shocked right there, to be fair. This is all the kids on the dance floor. This is, I'm guessing, Tiffany speaking to Bob. Right there. Yeah. Bit sad taking your mum to prom, innit? It's fucking... Like I said, it's foreshadowing events, isn't it? Graduation. For Chris, graduation was an emotional experience. Prior to the handing out of the diplomas was a award ceremony recognising gifted students. Chris became jealous and upset that he was not given the award for art class assignments. When the diploma ceremony rolled around and it was his turn to receive it, a despondent Chris took his diploma, slapped away the hand of the presenter when he offered a handshake, then ran off to cry. Why did Chris do that? At least suck it up. Just accept it. For fuck's sake, Chris. In his own words, I only got recognised for my grades with a star pin. It's something in it. Yet they had more fancy awards for the most important qualities, which you don't fucking have. I should have been highly recognised for my artistic talents. I showed in many art classes for the award ceremonies before graduation day. I felt crestfallen greatly for not getting recognised of my many talents. Of any of my talents, I exceeded in math too, for the love of God. I have gotten over the award ceremony on my graduation day, but to add lemon juice to an open wound, it was a dark and rainy day that day. When I handed out more talented awards right before handing out any diplomas, when I went up to get mine, I was feeling depressed, upset, crestfallen, and ticked off. When the award was handed to me, I took it without looking anyone in the eye. I did not shake anyone's hands. I just walked back to my seat in the graduation crowd, and soon after I walked the wrong way up the centre aisle. I found an isolated table and cried myself out. My mother found me later and comforted me. My father was ashamed of the way I acted. Well, no shit. He deserved to be ashamed of you, to be fair. You acted fucking stupid. And he would later still be angry at recalling the moment. Tiffany found me and gave me a caring moment of condolences back there. I gave her a plush Psyduck as a graduating gift beforehand. In another retelling, Chris reveals more straight anger. So I sit there. So while I sit there feeling happy for my friends who got something, I was so effing jealous. I was a high functioning autistic boy who came way beyond out of his social shell, only to get zilch, nada, zip, a big fat zero. I felt so devastated and out of sync, sad face. I ended up doing what I did when I went up there to accept the diploma. No handshake, tears, or running away to hide. They don't even have pictures of that in the Y2K yearbook. The caption should have read, "Student Kristen Chandler is depressed and sad for some reasons. His response is tears and fright." Even now, as I type this, I am still effing angry that I didn't get anything for the things that I poured my heart, soul, and handwork. Pretty sure that was meant to be hard work into. Nor emerged as a friend to quite a few, nor developing a positive social behaviour similar to the red skeleton. More recently, however, he has handwritten the story to incorporate the nostalgia of the lost friendships. Graduation time, I only got a star pin for my grades. No awards for my talent. Well, technically the star pin is a kind of award. Between that and leaving the best circle of friends I ever had, along with leaving the best days of my life behind, I shook no one's hand and cried a lot upon receiving my diploma. Plus it was raining heavily that graduation day. The evil Count Graduan's name was derived from Chris's feelings about his graduation. So here's some pictures, graduation pictures, right here. In it smart, and this is a really fucking blurry one. You can see he looks pissed off right there, can't you? They had this printed as well. Yearbooks. The yearbooks bore the title of Malsala, a Hindi term for a mixture. Chris bought 2 yearbooks apparently because he gave order forms for both Bob and Barb to fill out. Nobody signed his yearbook because they weren't delivered until after his graduation. Chris enjoyed looking at and masturbating to the image of his old gal pals and included many yearbook images on the 2007 DVD. In 2009 he threw his yearbook around the room in a demonstration of strength. In 2010, Chris showed the yearbooks during the abortive attempt to scare up a class reunion. The yearbook survived the 2014 fire with smoke and water damage. In 2017, Catherine and Al saw the yearbooks at 14 Branchland Court. Lingering attachments. I felt my heart back at Manchester High at Mathalon. That was Chris. What's Mathalon? Generally speaking, Chris's memories of high school still holds great significance to him. This, unsurprisingly, given the high school was the last time he regularly got out and about in social environment that seems to have at least partially accepted and tolerated him. Though this was most likely because snapping at an autistic child in public can get you suspended. Chris has mentioned that he frequently dreams of his days in high school, recalling his teenage years in a nostalgic tone. May 2010 YouTube video features a flood of wishful reminiscence from Chris as he laments having to move away from the suburbs where he went to high school. I have many friends over there in high school and I was just sad to leave when I graduated. A good half a dozen of the women he recalled in his archive of gal pals and past sweethearts, and most of them that weren't trolls, were girls he knew in high school. There is also the matter of the aforementioned Count Graduan, in whom Chris may have created an embodiment of the concept of leaving high school to be the dominant villain of the entire Sonic Youth saga. His graduation ceremony is perhaps one of his most painful memories, and it is particularly fitting that Chris transforms his experience into a villain in his own comic book, all things considered. In 2013, inspired by a large part of My Little Pony Equestria Girls, his second favourite movie of all times, Chris made a Lego model of his school, complete with labelled minifigures of his old gal pals, because Chris being Chris, he obviously doesn't realise how creepy making effigies of his former lovers are. In October, he showcased his creation on a YouTube video, a few days after discovering that his high school gal pals, being brave and compassionate souls, only tolerated him and allowed him near them out of pity, not that Chris appreciated such charity. When his house burnt down on the 10th of January 2014, the Lego High School partially melted and was photographed and salvaged by Chris the very next day. One of his first orders of business after moving into his temporary home was to rebuild the school, which he accomplished by March, rededicating it to Manchester High School. He continued to expand it into the summer and used his high school yearbook to make the Lego figurines of the entire staff. That is, reunion plans is his last bit. I know it was promised because at the end of the slideshow they had at the prom, it had a huge message stating, See you at the reunion in 10 years. I am no longer going to take the obstination and ballaboring to no promising keeping sitting down anymore. And that was Chris on his promised reunion. Chris's intense yearning to return to high school manifested itself in a protracted focus on attending the reunion. He imagined the reunion almost exclusively within the context of reconnecting with his old gal pals. I'm pretty sure they moved out of state by then. Especially Tiffany Gowan, who he planned on asking to dance. In his gal pals and past sweethearts page on the Wikipedia, Chris noted that he didn't know exactly when this would take place, but he made no effort to find out until mid-2010, as he assumed nobody from that high school would have contacted him by then. Oh, somebody. He decided to be proactive and took several clumsy attempts to bring the reunion to fruition. He planned to call the principal and demand action. Yeah, that'll fucking work. He made a post on classmates.com announcing the event. He personally typed up a list of his classmates' names, and on the 27th of August 2010, he uploaded a video addressed to YouTube, a desperate plea to help organising it. Then he left it up to his father to fill the incoming calls. Was like his fucking secretary now. Nothing came from this apart from reading in November. There's been a class reunion, but either way, Chris did not attend. 3 years later, still missing his old circle of gal pals, he tried again. This time for a 15th annual reunion, although it should be 2 years in the future. In August 2013, he contacted and friended everyone on the class of 2000 he could track down. He sent gifts to some of them and started to refer to his class as my family. I feel this is of utmost importance. I do not want anyone absent from the main reunion I am rounding out everyone up for, he empathised. With the assistance of smarter people than himself, he produced a flyer and used his personal Facebook page to provide updates. Simultaneously, he engrossed himself in the parallel fantasy of constructing his Lego Manchester High School. However, a combination of general empathy, troll shenanigans, and his Facebook friends' exposure to the bizarre, asshole-ish sides of Chris thwarted his efforts. LaRuth caved in on the 30th of October, where he learned that he's so. I thought he leaned on his fucking Lego. Where he learned it. His so-called friends has been nothing more than hired help. He sank into depression and stopped caring about the reunion. The following summer, he grumbled, "Fucking dicked or dead." Is it? No, I don't know. Something dead. Ruining socialising and making reunions considered outdated and obsolete. 2015 came and went. No reunion is known to have been held, and Chris has apparently stopped caring about it. With his ideal fantasy of high school shattered into pieces, it is likely that Chris has completely given up on this universe, and of being happy and well liked in high school, and has shifted his attention to a different universe where he is all-powerful and worshipped as a goddess. In any case, it is fairly likely that Manchester High School has since long banned him from setting foot in it, as it happened with PVCC. So that's it. See also all that stuff. We've got a gallery here. Let's actually read this pamphlet what he had made. Manchester High School Class of 2000 reunion currently under planning. RSVP now and claim your mark. On Facebook, befriend and message your contact information, including full name, home postal addresses, phone number, and email addresses for reunion updates and invitations to Ashley M. something class president. Facebook, yeah, he's basically dot wants to harvest information from that. It's a bit creepy, really. Or email your information directly to Christian. We're still rounding up our classmates. Please relay this digital flyer. Ooh, so it was not really a real flyer then. It's like a digital one where he posted on the internet. Okay. Right, that has been it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow I'll have an Encyclopedia Dramatica reading, because more reading. There's a lot of reading this week. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe, and if you want to support me, the information is on your left. So until next time, see you guys.